Hey guys, Upper Nimbus here. So in today's video, I want to talk about every upcoming JRPG for the Nintendo Switch in 2024. Now, I have scoured the internet for every major JRPG coming to the Nintendo Switch this year. So of course, without further ado, let us get into the JRPGs that are coming to the Switch this year. Cards RPG The Misty Battlefield is a game which mixes roguelike style deck building with strategy RPG elements, creating an experience like no other found within JRPGs. We follow the story of Vel as she leads the Clawswitz battalion in the fight against Farftania. In this JRPG, you can collect well over 100 different cards in order to build the perfect deck, as you face off against enemies while dealing with shroods of mist scattered across the playing field. You must clear the mist to find the opposition, facilities, and various equipment which will aid you in battle. Strategy and planning is key, so make sure every move counts. Cards RPG The Misty Battlefield is slated to launch for Switch on May 23rd, 2024. Okay, so next up is Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth Trilogy. So as the name implies, this is in fact the trilogy of the Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth games. This series of video games is developed and published by Idea Factory and Compile Heart, and in Japan it will be getting a physical release of the game. I'm not too sure if we're going to be getting a physical release over in the West, or at least some type of Asian English version through PlayAsia. It's going to be a bit of a wait and see game in regards to that, but fingers crossed that we can get a physical copy and it plays in English. So the Hyperdimension Neptunia series is a franchise that is based on the console wars between Sega, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox. The main characters of the games are basically video game consoles personified as goddess waifus. And funnily enough, would you guess, the world that these games are set in is called game industry. Yeah, I don't know how much more obvious they could be with this. Now, the really cool thing about the Hyperdimension Neptunia series is that there are a range of other forms of media with this franchise, such as manga, light novels, and anime adaptations. I myself have never played a Neptunia game, and this is one I am looking at for when it eventually releases for the Nintendo Switch on the 23rd of May this year. Okay, now here is a JRPG that I am extremely excited about, and that is none other than Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door remake. Now, I could go on about all my personal childhood memories with this game, but I will say that this is a Mario JRPG which you should definitely play. This is definitely the culmination of the Paper Mario series before it kind of hit the shitter. So I'm really glad that they're bringing back The Thousand Year Door onto the Nintendo Switch for a whole new audience to experience for the very first time, as this is how the Paper Mario game should be. Turn-based strategy, you can level up, you can collect and equip badges, which enhances your powers and abilities in battle, exploring a vast and unique diverse world with original character designs and awesome kick-ass party members to fight alongside you. So if Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door receives really well, then I'm hoping that this is the way the series returns to and continues into the future. So please trust me when I say that this game is definitely worth the buy and pick up when it launches, also for the 23rd of May this year. There's yet another Hyperdimension Neptunia game releasing in May, which is Neptunia Game Maker Revolution. Now, there is no exact date at the moment, but yes, this JRPG is currently scheduled for sometime in May 2024. Maybe we will see a proper release date announcement within an upcoming Nintendo Direct, perhaps? I suppose we will have to wait and see in regards to that. So, in Neptunia Game Maker Revolution, you must rebuild and manage a video game company with the goal in mind of turning your company into a mega corporation. The battle system in this game consists of having a 4-person party, and when exploring dungeons, you can actually ride a high-speed motorcycle. How radical is that? There's also a photo mode called the Heartful Photo Mode, where you can express your gaming goddesses in manga-like creations to your heart's content. Once again, Neptunia Game Maker Revolution releases sometime in May of this year. The first Monster Hunter stories will finally be brought over to the Nintendo Switch. This installment of the Monster Hunter franchise is heavily story-driven compared to the mainline games, and in this JRPG JRPG, you take on the role of a rider instead of a hunter. Riders live harmoniously with monsters and form special bonds which cannot be found in the main series of Monster Hunter. As a rider, you can raise and train your monsters, ultimately battling alongside them. This game shares some similarities with Pokemon, where you can also hatch eggs and befriend monsters in your travels. Combat is traditional turn-based battles like in plenty of JRPGs, so this game should be no stranger to fans of the genre. As a side note, there will be an apparent physical double pack for the Monster Hunter Stories games. However, at least in the US, the second game will be a download code, which can be seen as a downside for some. Monster Hunter Stories will release for Nintendo Switch on June 14th. Now here's a JRPG that will actually have both games essentially on one cartridge, and that is none other than Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Not only will you be able to play the original campaign of SMT5, but there will be a brand new story you can follow as well, the Canon of Vengeance. It is a dramatic tale of revenge by the fallen, and centers around a new cast of characters and an enigmatic cohort of demons known as the Kadistu, who have their own nefarious plans for which they desire to set into motion. The original storyline is dubbed the Canon of Creation, and tells the tale of an endless conflict between angels and demons, and it's up to the protagonist to fight for the fate of the world. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance is planned for release on the 14th of June. Which story path will you play first? Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Quest of Memories is an upcoming JRPG based on the anime series of the same name, except for the Quest of Memories part in the title. That is exclusively this game's name. We follow the story of Rudeus, Eris, and Ruijerd, where they find themselves transported to the Demon Continent. This game will contain new scenes which weren't previously found within the anime, so players will be able to dive deeper into the story surrounding the main characters. In battles, you can take on enemies with both magic and sword masteries for each and every playable character. As expected in most JRPGs, you'll need to fight against monsters in order to progress the narrative, so make sure you become acquainted with this game's turn-based combat. Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation Quest of Memories launches for Nintendo Switch worldwide on the 20th of June this year. In Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, a gigantic earthquake once destroyed Tokyo roughly 10 years ago, changing the lives of its citizens forever. Since the disaster, the city has been rebuilt and life has gradually returned to a sense of normality. However, a dark secret lies deep within the roots of this newly built metropolis. The truth of why the earthquake occurred and crumbled Tokyo 10 years in the past. The emergence of a mysterious yet dangerous world known as the Eclipse is discovered to be the reason as to why Tokyo had fallen so many years ago. So now, in present day Tokyo, you must take action in order to stop the advancements of the legions of the Eclipse and protect the peace and the citizens of Tokyo. The Nintendo Switch version will include all DLC and a revamped localization of the game's story. Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus launches for Nintendo Switch sometime in June of this year. The highly anticipated Trails Through Daybreak will be the newest entry in the Legend of Heroes franchise. Well, the newest entry for the West, as this JRPG had initially released in Japan back in 2021, believe it or not. That's quite literally 3 years ago, which is hard to believe that it's taken this long for a localized version of the game to come westbound. The story in Trails Through Daybreak follows the main character of Van Arkride, a young man working at Arkride Solutions office as a bounty hunter detective known as a Spriggan. With each chapter of the game, you as the player will spend a day in the city of Edith, where you're free to interact with plenty of different characters and will also be able to take on side missions. As the story itself progresses, you'll be sent to another location where new members can join your party. Trails Through Daybreak has zero loading times when entering and exiting buildings, which is an incredibly useful quality of life addition to the game. Both turn-based and real-time combat can be experienced in this JRPG, and this game will encourage the player to try both styles throughout their playthroughs. Trails Through Daybreak will launch on Nintendo Switch on the 5th of July 2024. Reinatus is a brand new JRPG where fantasy meets reality, set in the Shibuya district within Tokyo, Japan. The power of magic is feared amongst the citizens of Tokyo, and it doesn't help the situation when two prominent figures cross paths. Marin Kitazumi, a wizard who seeks freedom through unstoppable power, and Sari Nishijima, an officer who seeks to control magic and form an orderly world. Once these two beings meet, the wheels of fate will begin to turn and a new darkness will befall the city, changing its inhabitants' lives forever. I am incredibly excited for Rain Artist and absolutely cannot wait for its release on Nintendo Switch on July 25th. Okay, so believe it or not, while I was editing this video, they had recently announced that One Piece Odyssey is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. So this game was actually made in celebration of One Piece's 25th anniversary, and the creator of One Piece himself, Eiichiro Oda, was actually directly involved with the development of the game. Now, I'm a massive fan of the One Piece series, and I love both the manga and the anime equally, so I'm incredibly excited to try this game on the Nintendo Switch when it finally releases. So the story in One Piece Odyssey is pretty simple. Basically, Luffy and the rest of the Straw Hat crew are sailing the Grand Line, and then when they get caught in this big giant thunderstorm of sorts, they basically become shipwrecked on an island called Wayford. The island is a mysterious place where Luffy and the rest of his crew must find each other after being separated, doing everything in their power to find a way off the island while fighting against powerful enemies and exploring the island's many wonders. The game's music is composed by none other than Motoi Sakuraba, who is also known for doing music for both Dark Souls and the Tales of series. You'll be able to get your hands on the Switch version of One Piece Odyssey when it releases on the 26th of July this year. In Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, you get to explore an uninhabited island in the seas of Riveria, and within this island lies a secret which is yet to be discovered. This game is your story to forge as you travel between two different time periods in order to uncover the truth behind the island's mystery. You're able to customize your playable character's features such as the face, hair, and much more. Travel back 1,000 years into the past and gather resources from a time long forgotten, bringing those supplies back with you into the present whilst restoring the island to its former glory. You can have up to 4 players total, either online or locally, and can also invite friends to your island just like in Animal Crossing New Horizons, for example. You'll be able to adventure together and explore the many wonders this JRPG has to offer. Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time is expected to release for Nintendo Switch on the 10th of October this year. Witch Spring R is a remastered version of the original game which came out back in the year 2015. This story-based JRPG combines elements of training, collecting, and exploring, and you'll find yourself fighting against warriors and monsters alike, while developing stories with various characters. You can level up your own witch by training and also fusing magic ingredients that can be collected from fields. I believe the Witch Spring series had originated on mobile platforms, but it has gradually found its way on both consoles and PC, which I'm pretty glad about since I don't really play mobile games myself. There's plenty of choice for the player to watch their witch grow in this game, and I would be curious to compare my own copy of Witch Spring 3, The Story of Erodi, with this upcoming remaster. Witch Spring R is scheduled for release within spring of 2024. The latest entry in the East series, East 10 Nordics, takes place in the northern islands known as the Obelia Gulf. Within these harsh lands, our hero Adol Kristen encounters the Normans, a seafaring tribe which aggressively drag Adol into their conflict between themselves, the townsfolk of Obelia Gulf, but also the Griga, a group of undying monsters with their own sinister agenda. Karja, who is one of the Norman warriors, pairs up with Adol Kristen as they both venture out to sea, consulting maritime maps and landing in naval battles with enemy ships. Now, the reason why I'm so pumped for this game is because it's reminiscent of Ys 8 Lacrimosa of Dana, with its seafaring and oceanic themes, and I am a huge sucker for tropical settings and locations within my JRPGs. Ys 10 Nordics may not be the exact carbon copy of Ys 8, however, I seriously cannot wait to sink my teeth into this game and explore the collective islands that make up the Obelia Gulf. Ys 10 Nordics is slated for release sometime within fall of this year. There's a few more other JRPGs which are slated for release this year, but it could feed into 2025. Let's do a quick lightning round and see what these other JRPGs are. Deca Police is a crime suspense JRPG from Level 5, developers of the Professor Layton series. The main character hunts down criminals in a huge open world crime-ridden city, traveling back and forth between physical physical and virtual reality. Inazuma 11 Victory Road is an underdog story about overcoming hardships, growth, and challenging the very best. Face off against over 4,500 characters in this soccer-based JRPG, with all of them making appearances from different versions, releases, and season passes of the Inazuma 11 series. Kamibako Mythology of the Cube is a JRPG which combines elements of crafting, puzzle solving, and battling. A game system that evokes a unique new game genre that will give you a brand new experience. Become the restorer who aims to save the world by finding solutions to the Great Division and fragmentation. Light Fairy Tail Episode 3 is a turn-based JRPG which features a modern presentation with a classic core. Episode 3 carries over with Haru as he gathers a party of new and old friends on a journey to the Lost Sky, while having to navigate through a dying underground world ruled by an evil empire. Metal Slug Tactics is a brand new entry in the Metal Slug universe. Discover a new side of the emblematic run and gun, and jump into a dynamic tactical RPG with roguelike elements. Donald Morden is back after being hidden in a country opposed to the world government, and he's finally ready to take revenge upon the world. Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster is one legendary double pack of the first two games within the Suikoden series. Now fully remastered in high definition, this JRPG bundle will include updated visual effects, new environmental sounds, an autosave function, conversation logs, and the ability to fast forward battles. I do realize there is the potential that I could have left out a game or two, so if I have left out any JRPG, please let me know in the comments below. Now, if you do like what you see today, please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as it does help out small channels like my own. So until the next time, everybody, Upper Nimbus is signing off.